Hello, everyone. I want to thank you for being a part of this conference today, Artificial Intelligence and the Future of Design, hosted on the Just Design platform. Just Design is a design platform for sharing, learning, and connecting. With a mission to democratize design. That's a very simple mission. We believe that design makes the world better. Design has the capacity to shape human existence. It has shaped it and will shape it continuously. So I want to make design accessible to all. That's our mission at Just Design. We want to promote quality design. We want to strive to improve design. And the aim of this conference is to stimulate a conversation on how AI will shape the future of design. And we believe that construction has been relatively rigid to technology. Yet tech is both an enabler and a multiplier of capabilities to alter entire industries and civilizations. And so that's a major reason why we want to begin to explore conversations around AI, particularly how to shape the design industry. As we know, AI is an evolving technology, basically that tries to simulate human intelligence and solve problems at scale, and that's something that is typical with evolving technologies, capabilities to solve problems at scale. And so we believe a conversation around AI and the future of design becomes critical at this time. Interestingly, design industry is one industry that appears to be quite slow to adapt to technology. And we think at this time, at this season in the history of mankind, we should begin to particularly alter that narrative and improve how the design industry will respond to AI. If you look at the past few decades, how tech has influenced design, particularly the CAD/CAM impact on design, leading to the BIM impact on design. And today we are beginning to look at the impact of AI. And so largely, AI will alter and will shape the future of design. However, it only takes those professionals who are prepared, who are skilled, who are armed with the right appropriate tools that can take benefit of AI and in turn shape the future of design. Really, design will never remain the same, just as every other industry. And of course, a rider is the fact that one company that is powering the AI industry is NVIDIA. And it interests you. Just last year alone, NVIDIA's market cap has grown 3 times, and they've joined the rank of the $1 trillion companies in the world. Now, this is that company powering AI. It tells you the impact that AI will have on the world. Now, design industry is one industry that is poised to be influenced, shaped significantly by AI. And the better designers are armed, are skilled in the use of AI, the faster, the better capabilities we can have. And so this is my basic intro to welcome you to AI and the future of design. And so shortly, we'll be having our first speaker. Today, interestingly, we'll be having 3 speakers. We'll be having architect Abiodun Shonibare. We'll be having Dr. Obion Wakoye. We'll be having Dr. Azan. And these are very experienced professionals, designers who have been able to master technology. And so today they will be sharing with us from their wealth of experience, their expertise, and I'm sure we'll be enriched in our understanding of AI and its impact on design. Thank you very much. You're welcome.
Architect Abiodun Shonibare is an architect, computational design specialist, and AI enthusiast with over a decade of experience in the avant-garde segment of architecture and industrial design, architecture, furniture installations, products. He is an associate partner at Studio Stone Designs and a director at Shift Lag, consulting for companies and providing services and training related to algorithmic design, complex geometry, digital fabrication. He has been a guest speaker at the GE Lagos Garage and LASPETEC SAS program.
Hi, hello everyone. Once again, thank you for having me. I really appreciate the fact that I was called to come and speak at this presentation. I've been told I have 15 minutes, so I'll try and hit the floor immediately. Let me try and share my slides. Okay, perfect. My topic would be current trends and challenges of AI in design. First of all, I'd just like to make it known I'm no expert in AI. I'm more of an enthusiast, but my curiosity has actually led me to find out or to discover a lot of things about AI, which I think would be very useful to the architecture, engineering, and construction profession. So that's why it's themed an experiential journey, because it's really my experience in trying to know about this tool. So I'll begin with the evolution of architectural practice from hand drawings to AI integration, basically. Visualization has been the main mode through which architects tend to communicate their visions, right? And over the times, we've evolved from hand sketches to more precise drawings using technical instruments like the set square, the compass, the rulers, and all. And then we gravitated toward CAD, which made our precision more and being able to iterate our designs faster. And then BIM came when we were able to add the fourth and fifth dimension in terms of time and cost. And all of a sudden, in this time and era, we're having a new tool that kind of sorts of encompasses everything as a whole, and that is AI. And I'm pretty sure, just like me, everybody has experienced the hype or the buzz about AI. Most of the conferences you see online are about AI, or different people talk about what is AI. Is AI ethical? The fact that it's some people think it's about is actually plagiarism in disguise, or it has a sort of bias, or it's going to replace certain types of jobs and everything. So those are the questions that have literally got me thinking, okay, so what is it about this AI? And I decided to make a conscious choice. I'm pretty sure a lot of you can relate to the movie The Matrix, where Morpheus had to tell Neo, you know what, pick the red pill and know how deep the rabbit hole goes, or pick the blue pill and just forget everything. So the red simply means embracing AI and unlocking the future, or unlocking the plethora of opportunities that come with it. And the blue pill is either you just ignore AI and think it's just a farce, and you have a limited understanding on its profound impact on our daily lives. And so I decided to pick the red pill, and the rabbit hole apparently just keeps getting deeper by the day. To the left is this particular graph that shows the timeline or the progress of AI. I'm pretty sure AI has been in existence or has been talked about right from the early 90s, if you remember movies like The Terminator, or The Matrix. But then all of a sudden, its profound impact has been felt in 2022, to be precise. And the reasons are basically we have the internet now, which has been able to help us share a lot of data worldwide. We have improved GPUs, i.e. the graphics processing unit, just like Benga said. NVIDIA has been the front runner of this. And then also, subliminally, we've been training the AI itself through these captures that we didn't know. I'm pretty sure sometimes when you log onto some websites, you see these captures, choose a sunflower or choose a car, and then you just click it, not knowing what you're doing subconsciously. So I think I'll just start with AI at its core is basically a multidisciplinary approach that incorporates computer science, sophisticated math, psychology to create systems that are capable of learning, problem solving, even language comprehension, in quotes. And in my search for understanding it, I was able to categorize it into three forms, which are one, the AI art, two, AI chatbots, and AI design. I'll just talk briefly on AI chatbots and AI design, and more extensively on AI art, since that's what I've been focusing on for now. So AI chatbots, I'm pretty sure most of you are not are very much aware of ChatGPT. I mean, aside from administrative roles, which a lot of us have been using it for, like writing our email correspondences, it's quite interesting to note that you can actually take it beyond just that. You can use it as a domain expertise. That is, you can use it to critique your design work. And then through speech and images, you can use it as an interface to be able to drive parametric design tools, which are something I'm very conversant with. So, but if you're not an expert using parametric tools, you can just simply ask the AI, you know what, I have this particular piece of property and I want to make the cheapest roof. How do I go about it? And it will give you a step-by-step breakdown, which is quite interesting. Something that took some of us years to try and master. You simply just type in your prompt and you're getting results to get to such a solution. You can also use it for script analysis. That is, if you're not very good at programming and somebody sends you a script, you can simply just input the script into GPT and tell it to analyze it for you or break it down for you in a way that you can actually be able to understand what each line of code is actually saying. And then analysis, you can use it to analyze results, i.e. in terms of interpretation of results. So when you're doing more like data-driven designs, like urban data-driven designs that gives you a lot of information in terms of data, and you need to break it down, you can sometimes be overwhelmed. But using GPT, you can literally just take the data, put it in, tell it to crunch it for you and summarize it for you and get a very small, understandable result that you can use for your presentations and all. So that's with GPT. At the bottom, we have AI in design. Some of you might be aware. If not, there's Finch, which is used for optimization of layouts. You can do a lot of rapid iterations with your layouts as well. And then the beauty about it is, the architecture profession, we have to be compliant to certain rules and regulations when designing. You can simply put those rules and regulations as a form of guide, so that when you're designing, you do not break the barrier which you have set it to be at, which is quite interesting. Although Finch is only you have to be on the waiting list to be able to use it. But it's quite an interesting one. And then the out of all the AI design tools, the one I'm really very conversant with is Galapagos and Goat, which are plugins for Grasshopper. They are used for optimization strategies, and Goat is a machine learning engine that works well with Galapagos for data-driven design. But yeah, the main one, which I think has gotten everybody fully aware of, or gotten everybody to start questioning what is AI art? What is AI? Is AI art itself? And that has to do with the diffusion models like Midjourney, DALL-E 3, Runway ML, LookX, Leonardo. They're quite a lot. And to be honest, every day something new keeps popping up. But like I said, this is an experiential journey, and then I'll just tell you how I got to start using some of these tools. The first one I'll talk about is Midjourney. Midjourney is a diffusion model platform that can be accessed through Discord for now. But they're setting, and Discord is an app that you can have on your PC or on your mobile, which is quite nice in the sense that you don't need to have a very sophisticated hardware to be able to use Midjourney. Its strength is in the fact that you can type in a text or a prompt in this case. simple words, like to be able to to be able to ask the AI to generate certain types of images that you want. It's a very powerful tool when it comes to the ideation stage. I.e., once you simply just type a prompt and you probably have a designer's block or something, and you just want to know you want it to steer you in a particular direction, is very good because it gives you some very interesting results that sometimes you've never actually thought of before. The only challenge is it could be a challenge and it could also be an advantage to it as well, is that it is subscription based. That is, you have to pay for it. And reason being, to be able to generate such types of images, you require very powerful hardware. And so the company has this hardware on the server, and then you're just paying to be able to use their hardware. There are different subscription plans, but also another thing about Midjourney is the fact that it's open to the public. So whatever you create in Midjourney, it's not really, you can't really claim it to be your own because everybody can see it in quotes. So whatever prompt you put, everybody can see it, except if you pay for a very high subscription. But it's definitely a very good tool to look at. Now, my point number 8 I wrote is limited in understanding of context. There's an example I'll show you, and the reason is it creates images based on the data set it's being fed on, right? So if you simply type certain words as an architect, which I'll show you in another slide, you tend not to get the result because it definitely hasn't been trained on that. And the reason it's that way is because, one, Midjourney is not an architecture tool. It's actually an art tool itself. But we architects, we tend to try and see, okay, how can we utilize it, or how can we use it to the best of our advantage? On this slide is actually a project that one of the first use cases of Midjourney. We were able to use it to generate a very high resolution rendered image in seconds. I still remember the times when you had to do a model, you had to model and then you render, and depending on your hardware, it could probably take some minutes to several hours. But as the GPU started getting better, you could still render, but it would still take you a couple of minutes. But this kind of result, getting it in seconds without even having to model, is quite outstanding, to be honest. And you can also use it as a tool to combine images to create new types of results. And so, for instance, on the left is actually one of the stadium designs by the famous Italian architect Luigi Moretti. It was doing his doctoral thesis where he was trying to see how parametric design could be used to actually create spaces for visualization. And then on the simple right was just a bed. To be honest, I was simply just trying to see how I could combine different things, and the results are actually quite outstanding. As you can see, it was able to take the character of the stadium and fuse it together with the bed to create something entirely unique. Now, one thing to mention here, aside from creating realistic rendered images, it can actually create very realistic images. If I told you these images were not rendered, I'm sure you'd probably believe. You can simply see the debris on the floor. These images were actually created by Midjourney, simply just putting a text by saying modern concrete architecture in Nigeria. And you can even see some local type of buildings in the background, to be honest, which was quite fascinating. So during my introduction, I was mentioned as a director at ShiftFlag, where we tend to do we do consultation for computational design and fabrication services. There was a time while working, I think the workload was quite much, and we were approached to be able to quickly produce a type of TV wall. And this was the first time I simply had designer's block because I was the one tasked with the particular job. And so I decided to go to Midjourney for a sort of inspiration. And, it gave me a plethora of options. But yeah, as an architect, you're trained to be able to judge based on what is available, what are the resources available for you to work with to be able to achieve certain types of designs, and does it fit the particular context and all. And so with that, with other parameters behind in my head, I was able to choose a particular image, which eventually, using parametric design, was able to create the CAD file that could be sent to a CNC machine. And then definitely, this is actually a real life picture of the project executed. So like I said, ideation to execution is actually a very good tool. But yes, it can be quite limiting as well, because there are several keywords that I've tried to use to achieve a type of result, and it still hasn't been able to understand it. And it's really no fault of his. It depends on whoever was the person that was actually training the data sets of the AI. I was more interested in getting a grid shell, like a sort of pod, coming out from the honeycombs. But for some reason, it did not understand it. I mean, there are certain ways you can bypass it, but I just wanted to show you, sometimes if you don't, you might not get the desired results that you want. And I still remember my early days of Midjourney as well. I thought, okay, let me try and see if we could actually render certain types of sketches, like if I sketch, upload, so that, and then get a rendered result. Yeah, it tried, but it wasn't as like I said, it was quite poor, despite the fact that you go online on YouTube, you see people trying to attempt it, but at the end of the day, they tell you won't get the exact thing, but you try and get something close to it. So you don't really have control over your sketch to render capabilities, which is something I feel the platform should work on. And so with those limitations, I started searching for another AI, because one of my sources of inspiration is Instagram, and I tend to see a lot of nice architects like Tim Fu, Arturo Tedeschi, Joshua Vermelon. They tend to post very nice images of architecture, and you'll be wondering how were they able to get such results, and you could tell that they had control over the images, because they could get consistent images still with the same concept. I wasn't able to get that sense of control with Midjourney. In terms of ideation, it was good, but the control of it wasn't so good. And I got to find out that some of these designers were using a platform called Stable Diffusion, and it actually also employs a language diffusion model to give its results. But the downside is, one, you need a very high end hardware, which are quite expensive. But it's open source. So something I forgot to mention about Midjourney is the fact that you're using it on Discord, and it's you have a lot of people being able to view what you're doing. There are certain limitations to the type of prompts you can use with it, such as drugs, violence, nudity. I mean, it's not like we do that in architecture anyways, but sometimes, I mean, you could get the brief to design a strip club, and then you find out you can't really use it for such a thing. So Stable Diffusion sort of gives you that freedom. It's very powerful and versatile. It has some drawbacks, like it's very hard to install. I remember I took about maybe 2 days trying to figure out how to install it. And even after installing it, you find out you still have to keep on downloading several plugins, several models, and several things to actually get it running. But once you've crossed that threshold, it's actually a very good game changer. It's not censored like Midjourney, so whatever you want to create, you can actually create it, and nobody is stopping you. And I think I'll probably just show you some of the images. Okay, one more thing. Like I said, it was Stable Diffusion. I'd been hearing about it, but when you Google about it, you tend to get confused. Reason being, you see different things about it. one, aside from the user interface, which there are actually a ton of user interface. There's the automatic 1111, there's Comfy UI, there's Evoke, there's Focus. It has several types of user interfaces, which can be very confusing. But I found out that architects tend to limit themselves to automatic 1111 or Comfy UI, like the screen you're seeing here. I prefer Comfy UI because it's sort of has the same feel as Grasshopper, which is a platform that I'm very used to. And then also it has a very steep learning curve. You start hearing words like LoRa's, base model, generative AI, fine-tuning, control nets, in-painting, out-painting, checkpoints, LLMs, but the learning itself, the process of the journey is actually quite interesting because it's also opening you up to the world of AI itself. You're not just getting results, just like Midjourney gives you. You don't see what's happening on the back end. But with Stable Diffusion, you're trying to understand that, how are these images being created? You find out that, all these data sets have been put online, but you need to put it as a latent image, which has to do with a sort of compression for your system to be able to crunch it and be able to denoise it. Those are terms that I'm beginning to learn, which I'm pretty sure some of you might not be familiar with. But by the time you start using these tools, you start getting a hang of all this kind of AI words in quotes. One of my first uses of Stable Diffusion was on a project in Gowon State, Lagos. I mean, I just tried out its in-painting tool. And I was able to generate several iterations of images in different types of styles, from the modern architecture to the Baroque architecture to even the brutalist architecture, just to see how different forms or different styles of architecture could be used on a certain project that I wanted to renew. So basically, you can work directly on real locations and get your iterations in a very nice manner. Remember when I said Midjourney had this poor sketch to render capabilities? I mean, this is a sketch of a sports car. I simply put it in Stable Diffusion, put it a bit of prompt, futuristic car, realistic render, and the result is absolutely amazing. Even the stripes here, it was able to convert it to sand, which was quite lovely. Like it didn't lose the details, and then he added the background, that realistic concept, which is quite nice. So you can imagine, as an architect, you have your sketches. Maybe you're very good with sketches, but maybe you're not so good with CAD, as we have some people, right? You simply sketch, and then you input it into the AI with the vocabulary of the materials you want it to have, and you get your results instantly. And then it gives you the ability to be able to iterate and see different options, and then you can choose, because as architects, one of our training is to be able to choose based on certain parameters that we've set for a certain project. Going from sketch to renders, you can also do real-time renders with your BIM or your CAD models, your CAD files. You simply upload a black and white image, or sometimes it can just be a colored image, but where you segment it, that's also another term in AI. And then you get a very wonderful result. This is actually a live project we did in the office for a church. And I mean, we had a very short timeline, but I mean, they required some stained glasses, some hardwood, some tiles in the altar. I mean, yes, the arc was here, but at some point, the brief, we were supposed to take the arc out. So this is actually the end result. But this is a render, and the client was actually quite happy with it. And this was done in less time than we could have actually done if we were going down the traditional road of having to model, then render, and then show the client, and the client says, "Oh no, I want this changed," and then you start, that back and forth process. It shortens that particular timeline. But basically, my conclusions, if you study how architects have evolved throughout history, you will notice that we have had to reinvent ourselves with new technology. Like I showed you in the earlier slide, from sketches to technical using instruments for more precision than to CAD and to BIM. We need to adapt, or we always adapt. So but a lot of people you see on Instagram, people tend to just upload images and all. Yes, they are cool sometimes, but if you look at it critically as a designer, you tend to see flaws. And it's not really a fault of the people uploading it, but it's simply because maybe they can't use the tool. If you can't, so one needs to learn how to tame the tool to be able to achieve results. If not, you'll simply just be controlled by the AI itself. I think it should be incorporated in our educational syllabus because, like I said, it's actually very broad. There are so many aspects to it, so many facets that I couldn't even touch upon, but because of the time limit, so you know, a lot of people tend to say, "Oh, AI makes people lazy and all," and I'm like, you know what? Nobody rewards hardship. It's only productivity. We are in a capitalist society. If it gives you the results you want, you simply learn how to use it. You don't have to try and force yourself saying, "Oh, I must work hard and get something done." Now, regarding the doom and gloom post, unless it's harnessed by a person who understands a given brief, chooses an appropriate direction for the solution, it will just spit out random, subjective, cool stuff like a lot of things we see on Instagram with no direction, no thought, no planning, no reason, no justification, just stuff, you know. Then also, I would also like to say that the AI plus the architect is the one that will replace the architect, and not the AI itself. And then to end it with one of the 7 laws, one of the 48 laws of power. That's law number 7. Do not do for yourself what others can do for you. Try and be able to optimize your time, and therefore learning about this tool can help you to optimize that and give you more time to be able to do more critical thinking in terms of your design endeavors. I think that's about it. Thank you. Yeah, I'm done. Thank you.
Dr. Obiowa Iwokani is a highly motivated and creative architect with 25 plus years of extensive experience in planning, designing, and construction. He holds a PhD in using computer-aided architectural design with CAD in education. He is a passionate educator and has mentored hundreds of architects on using digital technology in architecture. He is a consulting architect and the principal partner of Wazak Building Workshop Limited with an extensive clientele spanning private, corporate, state and federal government projects. Some of his notable projects are the rehabilitation of the National Assembly Complex, Abuja, the national headquarters of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, RCCG, Ebute Metta Lagos, Onaru Palace, Baradu Dan Smart City, Angola, and the 21 floors corporate headquarters for Capital Assets Financial Group, Victoria Island, Lagos.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. I feel highly honored to be on this platform. And especially as I was listening to the last presenter, I was really excited. It means that the seeds that we sowed a couple of years back is yielding a result, and I give glory to God for that. The topic of my centered artificial intelligence design approaches. And into my slides. Okay. In the fast-paced world of architecture, it's important that you stay ahead. So we're excited that we are introducing a game-changing concept of human artificial intelligence. The as the ability of a computer system or computer-controlled robots, performing complex tasks that historically only an intelligent being, such as a human, could be able to perform. Things like reasoning, making decisions, or solving problems. And we understand that the crux of architectural practice is to solve problems based on certain data that we have. Now, going further, we need to also look at the human-centered AI in architecture. It simply involves incorporating human preferences, behaviors and needs into the design process. And as we are doing that, we are using AI technologies. Now, how does it actually revolutionize architectural practice? By enhancing user experience and optimizing space utilization and creating more sustainable and efficient buildings. So AI has come to stay, and AI is taking us to another new level in architecture and design. We need to look at how does it benefit an architect to use AI. It gives us opportunity for personalized design, enhance user experience, and also to gain a competitive edge, by delivering innovative designs that prioritize human experiences. And also to help us improve project outcomes by leveraging data-driven insights to create more successful and impactful spaces. Now, talking about the advantages of human-centered design, it includes combining the precision of artificial intelligence algorithms with human creativity, and it unlocks endless possibilities. That is for innovative architectural solutions, and that's what the world needs now. It also gives us opportunity for efficiency in our design, because the world is leaning towards lean project delivery. The more we design buildings that eliminate waste, the more advantageous it is for everybody, including you, the architect, and the clients, and improves our decision making and optimize space utilization. It also helps in sustainability. We need to understand that AI is catalyzing a paradigm shift that is in architecture, and it enables architects to visualize, plan, and optimize projects in ways that are not possible before. These tools, they empower architects to create unique designs and improve efficiency and explore innovative solutions. From generating intricate visuals to calculating construction costs, the AI is revolutionizing the way architects work, the way we think. And there are several AI tools in the market, but I want to focus on some of the tools that are considered to be best in the industry based on reviews online. One of them is markets.ai. It's an automated architectural planning tool. The AI-based software platform is designed to revolutionize architectural planning. And the tool empowers architects and design engineers to be able to generate thousands of plans swiftly. That's the beauty of using these tools. It will help you to generate thousands of options, and as it's generating these thousands of options, you are imputing constraints, prompts in such a way to narrow the options in such a way that you can make decisions as a human being. Then there is art design. This one is an optimized floor plan AI tool. It transforms floor plan designs. Architects can efficiently generate optimized schematic designs, that is tailored to project requirements. And this one also offers features, that is automated cost estimation, and it can also generate smart 3D renderings. And this accelerates your design decision making. Most of the things that will take you ages, weeks to do, in a few seconds, you can be able to go through your designs, look at the options, apply further constraints. It reduces the options. You apply further constraints. It reduces the options up to the point that you can start making decisions as a human being. It has pre-made templates, that expedite the design process and making it accessible to beginners and experienced designers. Another one is called architectures. This one is basically used for residential building design. It's an AI-powered web tool, that helps residential building designers in reducing design time and making informed decisions. Sometimes when you're on your system trying to come up with a design, if you don't have enough options, it might take you a long time to be able to make decisions on what direction you should go on the project. But these tools makes it easy for you. Using these tools, you can generate highly customized design within minutes. And as you're doing that, you're considering building regulations, zoning requirements, and other site criteria. Smart object placement, instant feedback on rule violations. You're designing and you have constraints, you have all those things. If you're going against it, it reflects so that you know where to make amends. And it also be able to advise you on material selection. It has cost estimation tools and 3D visualization capabilities. Another one is Delhi 2, an AI-generated visuals. This one was developed by OpenAI. It's an AI-powered image creator that it revolutionizes how architects produce and scale their designs. Architects can generate visuals rapidly just with a simple text or keyword input. And it allows for quick ideation and rendering of your concepts. Now, the fifth one is Midjourney, as mentioned by the first presenter. It gives you realistic visualizations. I can't say more than what he has said on this tool. It's an AI-driven text-to-image generator that facilitates the creation of hyper-realistic environments. It also offers 3D rendering of existing photos or sketches. Real-time project previewing with natural elements, and it has the ability to generate photorealistic images, from scratch. Simplifies visualization for architects and designers in general. Another one is called Spacemaker. This one is a cloud-based AI software. And it is empowering architects, urban planners, and real estate developers to make data-driven decisions swiftly. Makes it easy for you. Once you input your data, it generates options for you. And it also enables the testing of different design scenarios, in order to identify the one that is most suitable for you and for your project. And this enhances project performance across various criteria, such as energy efficiency, cost savings, and a lot of other criteria. Another one of the industry leading options is called sidewalkslife.com, an urban innovation hub. This one was developed by Alphabet.inc, and it's a comprehensive resource for architects, for city planners, for developers, and citizens interested in urban innovation. This provides insight into cutting-edge technology and tools that improve urban planning. And it also offers guidance on implementing innovative technologies in order to enhance sustainability and equity in cities. Now, talking about human-centered artificial intelligence design approaches, AI tools, they're becoming valuable, for architects. And however, they are unlikely to replace human architects entirely. Architecture as a profession, it encompasses a wide range of skills, and this also includes adherence to local building codes, creativity and problem solving. But be that as it may, these tools will continue to play a crucial role in enhancing the efficiency and effectiveness of architects, and also enabling them to create more innovative and sustainable designs. Let's look at key uses for architectural artificial intelligence for architects. We need to look at how the key applications of AI for architects, interrogating it further on how these tools are enhancing the architectural design process. Now, some of the keys are pre-design efficiency. These tools, it reduces the time spent in the pre-design phase, compressing weeks or months of planning into mere hours or minutes. The next one is in urban planning. AI, it facilitates early stage building designs, enabling cities to plan roads and city blocks efficiently. Real-time data on traffic flow and other parameters, it further refine urban planning, and these are data that are data-driven opportunities that AI provides for us. And also in construction monitoring. AI systems can use it to monitor your construction sites, be able to use it to detect potential issues and ensuring safety. And also you can use it to for real-time updates to supervisors. Now, still on human-centered AI design approaches. These approaches, they play a crucial role in creating sustainable, successful architectural products and services. But however, understanding the application of different methodologies and approaches in design can be complex and a little bit confusing. The question on the mind of designers and principal partners alike is, what is the best approach to develop Now, I want us to look at the 5 stages of design thinking. You know, we look at the first one is to empathize. You know, to be able to research on your user needs. And then the next is to be able to define, state your user's needs and problems based on certain parameters and design goals. Sometimes the design goal can be aesthetics. Sometimes the design goals can be mainly financial. It could be social, you know, and it could be structural. So being able to look at all these options and be able to define the exact needs of your client, whether it's just maybe financial, which means the life cycle performance of that building has to be top notch for the client to accept your proposal. If it's your clients wants an iconic building, it means your design goals should lean towards that direction. And also, having been able to define your problem, you now get to the next stage of ideation. You know, being able to, at this stage, you're challenging assumptions, and then you're creating ideas. And the next one is that you're having prototypes. You know, you start to create solutions for your design. And then the next is to be able to test, try your solutions. Maybe in your trying your solutions, you're also looking at the design goals. Are they just spatial? Is it financial? Is it aesthetics? Is it structure? Now, for the purpose of this my presentation, I consider the double diamond process. This was designed by the UK Design Council. You know, as a design process that actually satisfies the human-centered artificial intelligence in architectural design. You know, the whole idea is to be able to discover, define, and find solutions. So the first part is the problem, and the next one is the solution. At the problem stage, the first part, you are still having divergent thoughts on your design. At this point, you have ideas of what you want to create. Now, from the divergent point, you're gathering your data for the design, and the next stage is the convergent point. At this time of your convergent thinking, you've gathered the data for your design, and the next stage now will be to divergent thinking in terms of your solution. So many of them are confronting you. So many iterations are confronting you now. Maybe if you're using generative design tools, maybe you have 1,000 options. Then you apply further constraints. It reduces it to maybe a couple of thousands. You keep adding more constraints, and you do that, it reduces the options, helping you to make an informed decision at the end of the day. Beyond this point, your thoughts you're now converging your thoughts to the point that you're now having solutions. And once you're getting to the point of solutions, you can now test your solutions. You now deliver your design solutions. Now, in conclusion, you know, a comprehensive summary of the design process and results describes key findings, insights, and recommendations that are derived from each phase of the process. You know, and this provides a detailed overview of the explored design concepts and the final solutions developed. And this includes visual aids such as high fidelity prototypes, detailed design specifications. Now, usability test results, because at this point now you're testing the design. You're using AI tools to be able to check the comfort level, to check the lighting levels, to check the cooling loads and the heating loads based on constraints and the locations where your design is incidented. And at the end of the day, you make a decisions. And then you have user feedbacks and insights. Thank you very much. That's the end of my presentation.
Hassan is a skilled architect and VR developer who earned a PhD in construction science from the prestigious Texas A&M University. He is an avid researcher with a wealth of knowledge and over a decade of expertise in architecture, visualization, and construction. He founded Chronos Studios, a design and visualization company with an international presence. He is also the VDC manager at Clark Construction for the $2.5 billion Houston Terminal B Airport Transformation Project. His most popular research study created the VR Construction Lab, where he implemented game design technology crucial for construction assembly education. Hassan has received recognition for his works in the metaverse space. Hassan's skills as a VR developer, which he has utilized to produce immersive training simulations and educational experiences for clients, match his knowledge of architecture and design. He is a certified Unity game engine VR educator and has also gained other certifications in gamification of training, extending into mixed reality, MR, and artificial intelligence, AI. Hassan is exploring new frontiers of BIM, virtual reality, mixed reality, and artificial intelligence, improving project performance on construction projects with digital twins, mentoring young entrepreneurs who harbor a similar talent and passion, occupying strategic positions in established businesses. Hassan is a skilled architect and VR developer who earned a PhD in construction science from the prestigious Texas A&M University. He is an
Mic check. Can you guys hear me? Just want to be sure that I'm good. Yep. All right. I think I lost some audio right there, but I just need some thumbs up on YouTube if you can hear me loud and clear. Then I'm gonna share my screen right away. Okay, I see some thumbs up on YouTube. All right, thank you. So I'm also sharing my screen now, and if at any point you can't hear me, just let me know in the chat. Sometimes these things misbehave. All right, so we're going to be talking about human-centered design approaches. The previous speakers already said a lot in terms of what AI can do for us. I'm going to take us through a little bit of a deeper dive into us getting very, very, deep understanding of, in terms of if we're going to be using AI to design, how we need to approach that. So my interests are in design, AI, BIM, construction, visualization, gamification, and architecture. And I know that the majority of the audience would be familiar with these terms, so I'm not going to dive deep into those. Just a little bit background about myself. I'm an architect and co-founder at Chrono Studios. A lot of you guys might know Chrono Studios. We've been in the industry for a minute. I'm also VDC manager at Clark Construction here in the United States, and currently working on the Houston Airport project. I'm also I'll say I'm an expert in VIM and VR, game design for human building interaction, which places me kind of like an expert to help you understand how you can start to think about using AI for your design, for your design approach. All right. So before we look at the text on the right, look at the image on the left, and you see this little puppy in the water struggling. Um, the thing about designing is that if you design for a user outside the context where they can use your design, it's gonna be chaos. Think about if you had to design a doghouse and 90% of the doghouse was water. Dogs are not naturally meant to live inside water. So you can't expect an optimum living experience in that type of house, right? So that is where human-centered design comes in. Human-centered design is a framework that enables us as designers to design buildings and spaces with the well-being of and satisfaction of occupants in mind. So the first thing you're thinking about when you're designing a space or a building is that you are starting to say, hey, what are my users going to need? What are their preferences? What are their behaviors? What do they need over anything else? Now we're not talking about how nice the building looks actually. we first and first, you're thinking about the user, you're thinking about what their problems are, what their needs are, you're actually documenting all of that. And then you take that as your design approach to actually, work around your design solution. So that is what human-centered design is. Now, if we're going to talk about artificial intelligence on the side, AI technologies are integrated into architecture, engineering, and construction processes. We're talking about AEC now to automate your tasks and optimize your design solution. Optimize design solution. So, cue the word optimize. Optimize means that you have a design solution, okay? There's something on your mind that is going to be your design, and your intention is to optimize it. And that's why you're using artificial intelligence. Um, and you always want to remember one thing, that AI is going to be an extension of you. It's like you having six hands, and suddenly you can type, you can make a phone call, you can send an email, you can, drink from a bottle of water and things like that at the same time, right? So I'm going to share a quick example of a parking project that I'm currently working on. So we had this situation where we have to work out a laydown area for a construction job site, and we needed to accommodate a lot of um, I'll call it a lot of different type of vehicles on the job site. And what that means is that you have to cater for some extra form of parking, which is not very regular, right? Which means you probably have maybe slightly double the length, or slightly maybe 30% wider space on your parking lot. So we did have to use Autodesk Format to do some very, very quick computations. And I can assure you, this saved a lot of hours of work. In terms of, if I would estimate, it would have taken maybe 4 or 5 hours to actually create maybe one or two design options, but that was all done in a couple of minutes, maybe 5-10 minutes at the max. And that was just used. It was just because I used Autodesk Format and TestFit, and I also use Parking Calculator, which actually what you have to do is put in your prompt, tell it what sizes of parking you want, what turning radius you want, what type of vehicles you have in there, what ADA requirements you want to have, where the entrances are going to be, and what adjoining roads are there, and then it's going to compute that for you. So, thinking about using artificial intelligence to simulate your own intelligence, okay, but this time around by machines, which means that machines are computing your intelligence rather quickly. So, think about machines helping you achieve something faster and better. All right. So, there's been a lot of buzz about There's been a lot of buzz. My check. Can anybody hear me? I just want to be sure that you guys can hear me. So I'm gonna do a quick mic check. And whenever you can hear me again, just give me a thumbs up so that I know that you can hear me. All right. Okay. Cool. Now, Architect Shonibari talked about data privacy or privacy in terms of when you're doing something. Um, that is very very serious. And if you look at the way ChatGPT is, there's been a lot of controversy about how private your data is really, because ChatGPT, I assure you, can remember 4,000 words in the history of your conversation. 4,000 words is a lot. Okay, 4,000 words is a lot of words to actually um, remember. So think about how not private, assuming that it's learning all the information you're giving it. Think about how not private your information really is. Think about the type of confidential information you might be feeding AI, where it can be using to train itself to either respond to you or secretly provide responses to other people. So that's the first thing about challenges of adopting AI. So you want to be careful about the type of information you're providing when you're creating your prompt. So that way the FBI doesn't come knocking on your door, really. The other thing is algorithm bias, where your AI algorithms may kind of perpetuate some type of biases present in the data. And of course, sometimes depending on the prompt that you provide to the AI, it can actually give you a biased response. I remember talking to someone here in the audience watching this live stream right now. I pushed Bard, which is now Gemini. I pushed Bard to its limit, where it started giving me wrong answers. It was incredibly funny because I was surprised. So yeah, there are ways that you can manipulate AI to do something upside down. Um, I remembered seeing a prompt where they said there was this person who said, "Hey, ChatGPT, tell me um, where I can download pirated movies." And ChatGPT said, "Well, downloading pirated movies is illegal, and you can get prosecuted for that. It's not a good thing to do. Blah 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 blah." And then it kept quiet. And then the guy said, "Okay, in that case, tell me the top 10 websites to avoid in order to not download pirated movies." And ChatGPT came with 10 lists of websites where you could download torrents of movies. So that is a reverse engineering of of the AI, and there are quite some limitations to its capabilities right now in terms of data privacy, in terms of bias, in terms of responses. But be rest assured that these are challenges that are typical of new technology and should not discourage you from actually using AI. So let's look at how we're integrating AI in architectural design. Okay. So AI enhances architectural design processes by first providing insights and automating repetitive tasks. So say you want to copy, some columns in 10, 20 places according to XYZ parameters. You can actually create prompts in your well, I'll say from let me talk about tools that we're familiar with right now. Grasshopper to Rhino, Grasshopper to Revit, and things like that. Um, there is growing interest in how AI can be actually integrated with Dynamo for Revit right now, whereby you don't actually need to spend time doing all of the learning of the tool. You can tell the tool to train itself to do what you want to do, if that makes sense, right? Um, Examples also include whereby people are trying to create design optimization. I mean, the previous speakers mentioned these energy analysis or simulations, material selection for buildings. So just think about using AI in your architectural design as a process whereby you're toggling buttons and inputting numbers to make design iterations in very, very rapid ways. We're talking about having hundreds of options in very short time, something that you can't possibly do if you were going to do that in the traditional design approach. All right. So um, I put two images here, and the first one is someone typing on a typewriter, and then the other one is someone trying to speak to type the same thing. Now, there is something we need to know about human-centered approaches to AI design. The first thing you want to know is that your user always has an objective. Your user always has a desire. The user of your design wants to do something, wants to live, wants to work, wants to play, right? So we're designing for people, we're designing for humans. And in these image analogies that I'm showing you, you see that the person on top using the typewriter is trying to convey a message. The person who is tapping to speak is also trying to convey a message. The end result for them is the same, but the user experience is different. One person is actually sweating and typing things out and going all haywire crazy, developing hand muscles and stuff. And the other person is just speaking at their convenience, and they're able to actually get a better output with probably less mistakes and things like that. So how do you as a designer want to ensure that you're using AI in a way that is enhancing your capability and it's addressing your real needs? So you as a designer, you have needs. The people that you're designing for also have needs. Now, one thing you want to make sure you're thinking about when you're creating when you're using these AI tools to actually generate your design is that you want to let the AI work for you. Ateshoni Barry said, don't do what others can do for you, right? You want to let the AI do the work for you, and then with your human capability, you can direct it in a much more finer way to actually give you the best result. Human-centered AI design prioritizes human factors and user experience. You want to ensure that you're informing that AI of your end user's desires. Okay? That you're informing AI of your end user's desires. And in that way, it's giving you the capabilities that you need your users to be able to achieve in the spaces that you're designing. So I'm going to do a live demonstration of something. So you guys just listen. Okay, Google, give me a briefing of my calendar today. Okay, it's thinking. I can't access your personal calendar. Okay, that's not true. But anyway, I'm not gonna delay this conversation. But what I typically would do is if I was driving in the morning and I just need to have a hang of what I have in my day, I'll let my phone do the rest. It's plugged into my car and it gives me a breakdown of my calendar. It tells me what I have to do at what time. And I can tell it, hey, give me a briefing of the weather. Tell me what I can do at the end of the day because it's Friday, right? We're getting to that point whereby you don't have to go through or flip through a diary or flip through a paper calendar to actually know what you want to do in your day because your briefing is waiting for you when you wake up in the morning, right? So here is, like I mentioned, the practical example of using AI. Here are typical applications and this include design assistance tools. So we're talking about you're trying to get some assistance in your design process, right? And you're also creating smart building systems and you're letting the AI actually do the thinking for you. For VR experiences, of course, which is where my expertise is, with AI and VR, you can actually tailor your VR experiences to individual users. Okay. So when I was defending my dissertation, I had a question about my dissertation was about increasing levels of difficulty and using virtual reality to actually teach construction assembly with increasing levels of difficulty. And we did an extensive research on that. And one of my professors was asking, how does a game adapt to its players? One thing that you can do with AI is that you can actually use AI to actually craft different levels of difficulties based on how your player is struggling. So we know how we did computer-based tests and exams back in those days where they say if you answer 5 questions wrongly, then you're going to start getting some different type of questions because now the computer understands that you're struggling. So those are typical examples of using AI in terms of application. We talked about design assistance. We're talking about creating smart building systems and letting that AI actually do the design for you, or rather enhance the design thought process that you have. And of course, like I said again, improving or changing or modifying game difficulties in virtual reality experiences. So the other one is user-centric AI applications, where you're aiming to enhance the user experience in architecture and construction. My favorite thing here is that you're providing parameters and you're letting AI do its thing. I just talked about turning radius. Who wants to start thinking about turning radius when you have 30 minutes to present a design solution to the board of directors on a huge project, right? You don't have time to start thinking about I want to make this 2 meters or 6 meters wide deep, then I'm going to offset that in several instances. Just find the tool that does the job. Okay. It doesn't mean that you're lazy. It only means that you're processing your result, your outcome, in a faster way than the average person is doing. Okay. And like I mentioned, the benefits of human-centered AI design is a lot. The first thing you want to do is you're maximizing your efficiency. You're enhancing your efficiency. So I talked about something that typically you would do in 6 hours being done in 10 minutes. Okay. Um, the AI technologies can actually help you streamline those processes. You can actually say, okay, this is what you want to do, and then tell it to automate or create a schedule out of everything you've put together. And my favorite is that you can get things done faster and better. I was doing a clash detection matrix. If you guys know, if anybody in the audience is in virtual design and construction, you know that clash detection matrices are pretty complicated. You're pretty much clashing a whole lot of things against a whole lot of things, right? And I did work out a framework. Okay, this is funny. I worked out a framework with AI, and I gave it some parameters, I gave it file names, I gave it, prefixes, nomenclature, and I gave it step-by-step instructions. And I said, based on all the things that I've given you, based on all the parameters I've given you, I'm going to give you 225 model names for you to clash. But I want you to give me 3 sample names to verify that you understand what I'm asking you to do. Lo and behold, it computed 3 different examples, level 1, East Tower, level 2, West Side, blah, 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 structural MEP. It created all of those matrices, and I was like, boom, we're in business, right? And then I gave it the prompt, and I told you what I wanted it to do, and I just sat back and I let it do its thing, right? So imagine not knowing what to tell it, right? So don't think about AI as a messiah. AI is not a messiah. AI is not going to take the work and do it for you. It doesn't know. AI is probably as smart as you are, and then the smarter you become, the smarter your AI becomes, right? So you can use, AI to create, user-friendly solutions that are responsive to your user needs. And of course, you can spend your time solving bigger problems and, of course, earning more money. I did say that in the previous, version where I was talking to people, and I said, the bigger the problem you solve, the more the money you make. And that is very true, right? So you don't want to spend your time solving small problems. Okay, let AI do the lifting. Okay, let AI do the small problems, and you focus on the big problems, the ones that AI probably can solve yet. Okay. And just some quick case studies before we wrap up. The first case study is, using generative design tools. Like I mentioned, AI-driven tools will help you optimize building layouts for user preferences. And examples that I made was parking layouts. We're also talking about some tools like the previous doctor said, helping you create floor space arrangement, and like architecture Nibari said, quick visualizations where you can actually create multiple iterations based on, oh, you want rococo facade, you want a modern contemporary facade based on this image. You can do all of those generative designs very quickly. I'm telling you guys, AI is your friend. The second one is smart building controls. Okay, AI powered controls adapting to building environment based on occupant behavior or occupant load. And I put an example here, and I said, think about an office building, an office environment that has 400 people. Okay, and Right now, we would have the air conditioning going full blast at 4 p.m. because there were still 400 people in the building. And then at 6 p.m., if there are only 20 people left in the building, if somebody has not gone to shut off that um, that sensor or that device, is going to keep blasting at full speed, which means that you're going to keep utilizing energy and paying more, right? So how does AI help in actually streamlining the velocity or the volume of air that is needed in the building if there are just 20 people left in the building? So these are ways that as architects we need to start thinking about using AI powered controls to actually make the lives of our users and occupants and building owners and landlords and real estate developers and investors, how to make their lives easier by our given skills, because we're unique. We're smart. We're a very, very smart professional. Architects, we're super, super smart. I can assure you of that. And I'm going to share an example with my phone app, my TV, and my location. So typically, when I get back home, my phone app connects, to my Wi-Fi. My Wi-Fi, my TV senses my Bluetooth from my phone, and then it knows to come on. It knows when to go off, and something else about I can program if I was going to leave home. I can program some devices to actually clean the house, like a vacuum cleaner, a robot cleaner can actually clean before you get back home. Why? Because you can actually program it to understand the time or the way your schedule works. So I know that on Thursdays I'm back home early and I want ABC done. I want my TV to be running. I want Netflix to be up and running by the time I come in, so that I just jump on the couch and watch TV. Those are all very, very smart ways of actually improving your user experience with all of the things that you have at your disposal today. So my challenge to you guys is that you want to go ahead and start exploring just the way Aktesho Nibare did set out to say, I'm exploring these tools. Go ahead and explore artificial intelligence and you will not regret it. So here is some takeaway for you guys, and it says the only way to keep AI from taking your job is to use AI to do your job better. And I'm going to say, if you look at the way that hand drafters were pushed out by CAD users, if you were using CAD in 1998, 1999, you were outcake. People wanted to work with you. Then the BIM users pushed out the CAD users, right? And now we're talking 4D, we're talking 5D, people who can simulate cost, who can simulate time with your 3D. And now we're talking about AI, right? Doing predictive analysis, telling you what area of your building is going to take more heat in summer. And then using generative design principles to actually design shading devices to conceal those areas. It's mind-blowing, guys. It's mind-blowing. And the objective of this conference, well, it's not to lecture you to say A, B, C, X, Y, Z, this is what you should do, but it's actually to open your minds and say, what can I do with this technology, right? AI does not eliminate the need for the human. It only enhances. You must still learn and know design principles. So without your knowledge of design principles, your input is more than likely going to be controlled by the AI, and you're not going to have that control. Like Aktesho Nibare said, you're not going to have that control that you want over the outputs that you're actually looking at. The AI is going to dictate for you because it's going to tell you what it thinks rather than you telling it what you think. Thank you very much. And that is the end of my presentation.
And I don't know, can you all hear me?
Yep, you're
Yes.
loud and clear.
Yes, we can hear
Welcome.
you, Dibejo.
It's really great to reconnect. I I mean, I'm really humbled to be moderating my elders and egbons in the profession. So, good day, Miss. Good day, Doctor Obi. Good day, sir.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Doing great. Good day, Architect Abiodun Shoni Bare.
Hi, David.
Hello,
Nice to
and
see
good
you
day.
here.
Yeah, good day, Doctor Hassan Anifo Oshe.
I greet you,
I don't know if
sir.
you remember this face, but this
I
man has
do.
known you since. Amazing.
I
Well
do.
done. So it's really a privilege for me to be here. I have questions following the insightful sessions that you've had, and I'll be asking some of these questions to each of us directly, and then would like to hear your take. Would like to know what you think about them. Some of them have been touched on during your sessions, but please feel free, sirs, to give us more insight. All right. So the first question I want to ask is with regards current trends and challenges in the architectural design industry. How are new AI technologies changing how architects design buildings? That's the first part of the question. The second part of this question is, do you think designs are losing soul or creativity, as some people say, as a result of the integration of AI or the leverage people leveraging on AI? So I'd like to start from Dr. Hassan.
Uh,
Yeah.
okay. So I think I'm gonna skip the first one, and let people who have who have more experience in that respond. But for the second one about losing soul, for me, I think it's just change. People are not very familiar with change and may tend to criticize change. The same way, even before AI, we can actually say architecture styles have become very different. We don't used to have those ornamented furniture that we used to have in the past. We don't
Yeah.
have those. If you go to grandma's house, if you go to grandpa's house, you see those balustrades. They are like intricately carved and all of that. We don't have those anymore. Um, but if 3D printing is going to replace that, does that actually make us lazier? Maybe not. Does it make it lose its soul? Well, we're depending a lot more on machines. So maybe machines don't have soul. Maybe that is the approach that we should look at it from. Since machines don't have soul, it is what it is. But I think in terms of architects' creativity, I think for the most part, we're still being enhanced a lot by the use of AI. Yeah.
Okay.
I can't generate 20 designs off my head right now if you ask me.
Yeah, but using AI, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So it's empowering the designer. I'd
Yeah.
like to hear your thoughts, Dr. Obi. Yes, sir. If, on the subject, I want to know what you think. Do you think AI technologies are changing, how architects design buildings? Of course, I think it is. We already have said that. We've said that in your sessions. But the second question is the more pertinent one. It is, do you think that that buildings are losing their soul, and architects are losing their creativity because of these tools, because of these forward technology tools?
I don't think so. I want you to look at it from another perspective. If you
Okay.
recall, they said that the smartest person in this world is just using about 10% of his brain capacity. Just imagine a scenario where you, as a human being, your brain is optimized. You can use 80% of your brain capacity. You will do better than an AI. Seriously, you will do better than AI. The challenge here is for you to be able to put down your ideas. Those ideas can be domiciled in your brain, but for you to be able to sketch it out and put it down and put it on a paper in a minute, thousands of them. That's where the difference lies. So the AI actually is not taking over your role as an architect. It's just acting as your design assistant. It's just like
Mm,
you
mm.
have a junior architect in your office, and you
Yeah.
just give them prompts, give them constraints, let them go ahead and develop it. And once they are done, you come back, you look at them, you iterate through them, and then you start making informed decisions based on certain, design goals, which could be spatial, financial, or economical, or whatever. So he's not taking over your work as an architect. So design is not losing its soul. Design is being enhanced because you have an assistant that is helping you. I believe that answers your
That's
question.
fantastic. Fantastic response. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Architect Abiodun, I would like to hear your thoughts on this. So, what do you think? Do you think that in any way AI might be impeding the creativity of the designer, um, and the soul, the amount of soul that's infused into the design outputs in architecture?
Um, funny enough, creativity, that term is quite relative
Subject.
because
Yeah.
yeah, it can be subjective as well because
Yeah, you can say.
I came across one definition where someone actually said creativity is plagiarism undetected. And truly, and
Yeah.
he kind of had a point. Everything
Mm.
new or that seemingly looks new is actually an iteration of a previous, concept or idea. Now, for instance, we as architects, right, we're given a design
Yeah.
brief. I mean, back then, how we were trained, you do case studies, you study previous designs to be able to influence the type of outputs that you're bringing, right? You
Yeah.
take time to study those designs, and then your brain starts to analyze them. Here's a tool that comes to be able to help you, like, it's been fed all those data sets that you would normally go and study, and then it brings out a result at a faster pace than you can actually come out with.
Process.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and it's quite amazing. So imagine the kind of possibilities it opens you up to. you know we're trained to make decisions, right? But
Yeah.
we're humans, and therefore we have flaws in the sense of even our biological makeup. And that's why I mentioned psychology as part of AI as well. You can actually have design block. You could have, I don't
Fine.
know, a bad issue, or you could get sick, and but somebody wants a product, somebody wants a result on time. AI is there to enhance your productivity in such a way that you won't have an excuse to say, "Oh, you know what, I can't do this because somebody died," or anything like that. You can't think properly. It's able to help you structure, your analysis, and so that's a very brilliant thing that it actually helps us do. Now, when you said losing soul, I think I mentioned it, and I think the other speakers mentioned it. It's if you allow the AI to
Take
just do
control.
what it feels like doing. If you do not control it, yes, architecture is not just about drawing buildings. Usually, I mean, anybody can draw a building, but the way you present it,
Yeah.
the depth at which you actually present it, you can actually relate with your client that, oh, it's because I studied your family heirloom. And then, therefore, because there's certain,
Okay.
now the architecture talking kind of thing, you know, those kind of things are human centered, and
Yeah.
that's what separates architects from everybody. I mean, forget AI. Designs have been uploaded online. Anybody can come, copy, and paste, right? But architecture
Yeah.
is unique in the sense that it's unique in the design industry in the sense that we don't even do mass production. We take everything
No, it's always
according to
bespoke.
context. Yes, according to
Yes.
the
Yes.
context, So no one design fits all, and therefore there's always a soul, provided somebody intentionally designs. And AI just helps you. It just enhances that particular workflow. And sorry, I'd just like to state one more thing.
Okay.
I'm going to paraphrase it because I don't really remember the exact words he said. Initially, when everybody thought AI would be used, we thought it was just going to be a logical approach, you know, that we'll be able to use it to optimize and, then all of a sudden, with all these diffusion models that came out, we saw we saw creativity being established. I mean, those images are quite wonderful, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure you've seen them. And then combination, I spoke on combination of how you can combine different ideas, which is actually part of creativity as well. If you study creativity, there are different ways, there are different forms of creativity, and
Expression.
combinatorial is actually one of it. You know, so it helps you, and then you can build with it. So I mean, depending on your style of design, and that's it. Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Abdi. Thank you all for the takes you've shared. So I want to say something. So there was something Dr. Hassan said earlier. You know, you said he said it does not replace the human. It only enhances, the design output. It enhances the designer. And there was an admonition you gave to us about how to approach this. You said something about how the best way for AI to not replace you as a designer is to use AI to do your job. Yeah. And I want to use that to ask the next set of questions. Right. You said something. So we're looking at human versus AI creativity. And the question is, can artificial intelligence truly replicate or enhance human creativity in the design process? The first part is replicate. Replicate. That means reproduce, right? And the other one is or enhance. We've talked about enhancement so far. Replication of human creativity. Or does it risk replacing human intuition and innovation? Is there a place where we get to where human beings, just imagine that we're all leveraging AI in such a way that people, I don't see this happening though, but people stop to develop their own innovation and intuition and depend totally on machines. I don't know if you are getting my question.
Yeah, let me take that on a little bit. So
Okay.
I don't know how many people agree or believe the evolution story. Um,
Theory, yeah.
yeah, how we went from Homo erectus to Homo sapiens, and you can see that transition of some humans or some species use their brains more. They use their hands more. They use their minds more, and that is how they became better and better and better. There will always be that set of people that would not use their brains, would not use their minds, would not use their capabilities, and they become more docile. And the ones who do use all of those become better. We're going to get to that point where AI will be able to replace a certain level of human intelligence, a certain level. I'm not saying all, and I'm saying a certain level because I'm talking about those ones that have receded in the spectrum of thinking. Those ones that have receded, that have dropped. Okay, let me give you an example. Do you think that AI can replicate what a monkey can do right now? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. I can tell you that. And the reason why I say that because monkeys cannot reason as much as humans. So there are going to be some superhumans eventually that are going to be better than the humans of today. Okay. And AI is gonna get to that point where it starts to gradually replace the people at the bottom of the ladder gradually. So that point is gonna happen. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, I'd like to say something here. And one of the things I need us to understand is that if you
Please,
look at
yes, sir.
yourself,
Go ahead, sir.
if you look at
Okay.
yourself
Thank you,
as a
sir.
human being,
Yes.
you're a marvel. Every single human being that God created is a marvel. But we also need to understand that just like we are using AI systems that have been optimized, human beings have not really gotten to the point that they are optimizing themselves. Understand that.
Mm.
I listened to one man sometime. He was trying to break down the human DNA. Let me just tell you something.
Okay.
The human
Okay.
DNA consists of some chemicals, nitrogen, and some other things. So this man broke down these things, and then associated it with numbers. And those numbers, he now converted it to letters. You know what the letters read from the human DNA? God eternal within the body.
Hmm.
That sounds crazy. So
Mm.
AI,
Mm.
however it gets to, is not better than the human brain. But the problem is, we human beings, we need to get into our avatar states. We will not be able to get into that state. If we're able to get into that state, anything that AI does, it can do better. The problem will be now to be able to have a screen, a physical screen where you can get those ideas down
See
and
your
then
mind
download
out.
and put it somewhere. But for you to be
Yeah.
able to have
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
ideas,
Are,
you have the
are we
ability.
talking about the augmented human?
Honestly, it sounded like the augmented human.
Yeah,
Human
that's a super
10.0.
cool idea.
But you know why I'm saying, if you talk about AI, talk
Human
about, you look as
10.0.
if we are looking at something that is better than you. It's not. Most times,
Mm. Mm.
human beings, there are different levels of brainwave. Understand that. You have the beta brainwave. That's what everybody, you are conscious of your environment. You have the alpha brainwave. That's the
Yeah.
creative wave. And it happens maybe when you are sleeping. Then you have the theta brainwave, that is deeper. Then you have the gamma, that is the God state. So if we human beings can be able
God
to
mode.
learn how to optimize ourselves by practicing quietness, that's something you cannot achieve. So AI is not taking anything away from you. It's just enhancing your abilities. But just like Hassan said, there are still people who will not think. There are still people who will remain docile because they are not going to do anything to add any value to themselves. So they will also always remain at the lower
At the
levels of the
bottom
food
of the
chain.
ladder. Yep.
But human beings who do you know, there is this boy that I saw online. He's a boy of about 8 years, but there is no
Okay.
aspect of mathematical questions that this boy was asked that he didn't answer. So where was he getting it from? Nobody taught him. But those things are inherent in humans. So let's not get to the point that think, oh, artificial intelligence that is coming now, is going to take over your role as architect. It's not going to take your role as an architect. It's going to enhance your work as an architect. It's going to shorten the time that you use in doing the things that you do before. Your turnaround time for your designs is less, even though that the artificial intelligence can have 1,000 options of a design based on prompts and constraints. Those things you can be able to cycle those things. You can be able to create those things in your brain, but to be able to put it down, that's where the problem is. And that's where
Okay.
artificial intelligence comes in as your design assistant. Thank
I
you.
like the emphasis you've placed on your design assistant, because it really makes it clear that your design assistant is not your clone. Your design
Yes.
assistant is your servant. Is at the
Yes.
mercy of your ingenuity. Just that
Mhm.
this design assistant happens to be a super machine that can do things that you might not be able to do in terms of efficiency, in terms of numbers, in terms of scale, and all of that. Now, I want to ask a question. I think is a pertinent one, because I know that the three of you have serious investments and interest in education. Now, I want to say something. Earlier, Hassan, you said something about how
You can
there
see
are
me
two
sitting
levels of
up, right?
humans. Yes. these are men that value education. So now you talked about two levels of people, almost like cadres of people, and Dr. Obi, you said the same thing. People who have not developed, their creativity and their intuition, and then people who are maximizing that, and how there's a difference. Now, how can we, where we are, especially in Nigeria, begin to make students in design, in architecture, early adopters of AI? I know right now nobody's really an early adopter because it's getting late by the day, right? But how can we make it such that we can bring more people on board in schools, in polytechnics, in universities, in schools of architecture? How can we enhance the adoption of AI for students? I will start
I,
with Abiodun. Yeah, yeah. I knew I wanted you
thank
to
you.
start, and then we go on.
Thank you. There's a saying that the best time to have invested was yesterday. The next best time is actually today, right?
True.
It's I don't know. Coincidentally, one of the people that has motivated me to be very curious in and my trajectory in my career is actually architect Obi here. And I still remember back in school when he started teaching us CAD, the first day, and this were the statements, or this was the statements he made. He said, um, "You people, you're privileged to learn CAD right now. Better understand it so that it will give you that competitive advantage. If not, you'll be competing with the likes of Hemotep." And that struck a chord,
That's so funny.
Um, it struck a chord in me, to be honest, and I think it really put that drive in me to always want to know what is happening in the space in terms of technology, to be
Mm,
honest. So yes,
mm.
how do we incorporate it into schools? I mean, it's pretty hard,
Yeah, curriculum.
especially in this part of the world.
Mm,
I.e., even adopting. Well, let's not open our our things here. But even adopting certain simple things is kind of very hard. We have this kind of bias towards change in quotes. But
mm.
programs like this, that what Just Design is doing, like calling this conference, I'm pretty sure the younger ones are seeing this and being motivated to want to know more things.
I agree.
Being invited at schools, and the the funny thing is education is also changing. You know, you don't have to learn everything you know in the four walls of a university. You have to have that drive to succeed. But I guess it also has to do with the people that are influencing the students. So even if it's not incorporated into the syllabus, in quotes,
Formally.
I mean, you are formally, discussions like this, tend to sensitize the younger ones and even older designers, because it's not just young people that are actually watching this particular program right now. We're hoping that it will be a takeaway. You know, and yes, I
Okay.
mean, then if you are in a position of influence, just like our doctors here, I'm pretty sure they can
Yes.
actually, write letters to the
Yeah.
academia and hope that things improve.
And
Thank
influence
you.
things. Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Abby. Before I get your take, Dr. Hassan, I want to say something, just in case someone doesn't know who Imhotep is. So Imhotep was an ancient Egyptian architect behind the stepped pyramids in Giza. So that's who Dr. Obi was saying
You'll be
be competing
competing
with
with.
if you don't leverage cards. So imagine you don't leverage AI. So I'm speaking to myself as well. So I really need to take it. So Dr. Hassan, the floor is yours,
Yeah.
please.
Um. Yeah, that was very good. That was a very good analogy. One thing that I'll say about all of these things coming at us is, regardless of the environment that we find ourselves, we two things must be constant. One, being hungry to be one step higher, one step better. The second is being curious. If you, well, majority of us might know the Creative Architect event where we say, stay curious, stay inspired. Your curiosity will help you achieve a lot more than if someone actually handed over something to you. Your curiosity to learn AI will help you find better platforms than someone handing over a list of 5 AI websites you can use to you. That is something I've realized, in my career. So beyond the people on top, the influencers, the authorities, beyond them making or pushing for those initiatives, the people that are growing up, the young and upcoming, should be very curious and hungry to chase down these technologies and try to unravel them. That hunger, in a lot of way, would actually influence the people on the top that are making those decisions to actually say, you know what, maybe we want to start listening to these guys because now we're starting to become the old folk, right? I remembered in design school then, I was about the first person to start using CAD fully in my class. We'd still use CAD and then we'd ink over it just to make it look like it wasn't CAD. I don't think I recall. I don't think I recall one project in university that I didn't use CAD to do because I started using CAD since I was in secondary school, and I'm talking Microsoft Word floor plan designs into AutoCAD. I was using AutoCAD before I entered university. So, and that's a long time ago. As you can see, I have gray beards, right? so, so, so what I'm saying is that curiosity. My technical drawing teacher, Mr. Agmola of blessed memory, he said, if I could do what I was doing in Microsoft Word, then if I could get on a CAD program, I would be limitless, right? That is someone who saw what I was capable of and encouraged it, right? And this is a challenge for people who are in spaces of authority, who are our bosses in the office, our managers at work, our professors in school, our directors of the institutes, the president of the institutes, the office holders in the Institute of Architects, to start to encourage the exploration of these tools. Encourage them, sponsor people to do these things, be open to them, and I can promise you that we would have more results, we'll have more positive results than if the younger ones are only waiting for the people on top to hand them over a manual, or everybody is being lackadaisical about, oh well, it's not really my business. I've spent my time, I've been in architecture for 50 years, so I don't really want to learn anything new. No, we shouldn't adopt that mindset. We should challenge ourselves. We should continue to try to explore. And I believe that with that positive kind of mindset, I think would achieve a lot of ground, regardless of our environment. It's the mind. It's the mind. Okay, it's the mind. Regardless of the environment, yeah, it's what you're made of for the inside that actually could help propel you to where you want to go. Yeah.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you so much, Hassan. So I want to ask this same question to you, Dr. Obi.
Yes.
You have been instrumental to the adoption of CAD and BIM by several hundreds and thousands by extension. Directly, I don't know how many students like us that you impacted directly, but I know that's impacting on several other people through the companies we lead, the companies we work in, and our colleagues. That's that serious influence. And when you started it, there were a few people. When you adopted it, there were a few people in Nigeria that had adopted BIM, for example. And to see the contributions you are making in this conversation about AI, artificial intelligence, just shows that you are a forward-thinking person who is staying hungry, and staying curious, borrowing Hassan's statement. So I would like to hear how you think we can promote early adoption for students. Since you have worked with students, what are the ways we should approach this?
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, I'd like to tell a little bit of my story, even as a faculty,
Okay.
and the challenges I faced with my senior colleagues, the professors then. It was an uphill task. Even to be able to allow students to use CAD in their design, I fought, and I fought. It was if you look at the men, they are seasoned professors, icons in the industry. And I'm saying something, and they have a counter opinion of what I'm saying. You see, and one of the things that I told them was that look, you've lived in your own generation, and a certain people are not in their own generation. They are called the netizens. You don't want them to live their own life. You want to bring them back to your own world. I said, that's not nice. Your own time has passed. Allow these kids to move with their world. Even today, every day things are changing. What we know about artificial intelligence today, you might be surprised in the next 2 months, the dynamics has changed completely.
Obsolete.
I'm telling you, what you think that is the industry trend, that tomorrow it will be obsolete. But the point is, even those students, they need to be hungry. I'll tell you my story. I did not learn CAD when I was in the university. I was privileged that where I served under one Professor Tiku Sahad. He's a renowned professor of architecture in ABU. So that was the first time I got in touch with a CAD. That was AutoCAD Release 12. Even in that office, the computer was, the hard drive was 2 gig hard drive and 8 MB RAM.
Wow.
So you start a work today.
Younger ones might not be able to process what that means.
We used to use Autodesk Studio Vs. You start work today, you trust God that your UPS will work well. That work will finish rendering after 2 days.
Accurenda. Did you use Accurenda?
And the point is, the man wouldn't even allow us to use these computers. He will fence us from the computer room. So what do? The office manager want Mr. Day. At 5 o'clock, I will bribe Mr. Day. Say, just lock me inside that office. So that prof will know. He will lock me inside the office and go home with the key. He comes back the next morning to open the door for me.
Oh, so, my God.
Throughout that night, I'm there, looking at AutoCAD help, that help program. That's what I was leveraging on to learn. As you're working on the system, the next thing you will see fatal error. All kinds of things, So I was able to do that because I was hungry. And I got in touch with one man, Dr. Botosho. He's a Professor Botosho. He was the first person that I knew that did a master's in computer-aided design. So I saw his drawings. So I would just take his drawings, look at his drawings, and try to impute the same thing he does in his drawings in my own. When I see flowers, I will look at it and say, this can be, how did this man create these flowers? I will zoom in and discover that those things are just lines, just like this. At the end of the day, it looks like flowers. And I was able to learn because I was interested. Even though today, I know that we still need to do more, but our students, what I'm seeing today, most of them, they want the easy way out. So AI, I'm sure that if you introduce them to AI, they will dive. That does not mean that they should not be grounded in architecture.
Design.
It's not that they should not be grounded in architecture. The principles of architecture, they should learn it and they should flow with it. Even if you look at AI today, let me just tell us something. When you talk about AI is just, they are referencing millions of data online to be able to come up with solutions for you. Initially when I started architecture, it used to be difficult for me to come up with designs until I understood the principle of case study. I learned this from Michael Jackson. You won't believe it.
Wow.
There's this Cameroonian musician called Manu Dibango. He was the original. I heard that Michael Jackson used to listen to thousands of songs before he would create his own. So I had one song by Manu Dibango. That song was Say Mamaku Sa. Say
Wow.
Mamaku Sa. That's his own. Then I am sure Michael Jackson. And when it was time for him to do it, he was say Mamaku Sa. Say Mamaku. I said, wow. So he discovered that even with AI, if you can be able to, you as an individual, cycle through thousands of the type of design that you want to do, your creativity will be enhanced and you can do as much as any AI product can give you.
Plagiarism undetected. Thanks for that info.
Yes.
No. Plagiarism undetected.
So just to build up on what Dr. Obi said about
Yes, please. Go ahead.
the rigor of learning AutoCAD. The way that I learned AutoCAD was with the AutoCAD Bible. It was 600 pages. And at night, when everybody has gone to bed, I turn off the lights because I don't want to wake anybody up. And I use the monitor light to read the AutoCAD Bible. And it says click the button, and then I click the button, and then it said draw the line, and I draw the line, and that was how I was learning AutoCAD. So yes, there was no formal class that says, okay, 20 people in a classroom, we're going to teach you AutoCAD today, right? It was just one person saying, I want to learn this software. I'm hungry enough to learn this software. And that's the same challenge that I'm going to put out to everybody out there. Like you said, don't wait for people to actually say, here is AI, use it. Go ahead and learn about it, because the competitive landscape is going to change very soon. You are going to have to compete with other people who already know how to use these tools. So best of luck in equipping yourself. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So my major take home is really the aggregation of the things we've shared. Abe, you talked about how platforms like this are very quintessential to helping the younger people, especially students, to adopt, to see the necessity of artificial intelligence and how it's not a threat. And so I really want to give kudos to Dr. Alalade for setting this up and for the visionary leadership is given to Just Design and bringing seasoned minds together to give insights to people in the industry, people in academia on the power of AI and how we can leverage on AI. I know we're really, really low on time, but to wrap it up, I want to get your take. Just in 60 seconds, share something that we can take home and use and run with. So I'll start with Abiodun Shonibare.
Seriously. I don't really have much to say. I think Azan had said it all. And the theme of creative architects, stay curious, stay inspired, is what should be the driving motive for people. I mean, it's not like I've attended a formal school trying to learn about these tools, but I mean, the desire to want to know what is happening, has made me have to, browse online, even try to pay for for different courses and all. But I mean, just stay curious, stay inspired, and you just keep on moving. It's a capitalist world, so just try and have the competitive advantage in whatever you're doing. That's all.
So I want to thank you so much, Abdi. I want to say thank you for the role you played back in school for me. You're one of those people who made me see that what Dr. Obi was saying was true. because I was he was teaching us the tools in classroom. But sometimes I'll come to your studio and I'll see you using SketchUp to make very fantastic models. I mean, Hassan, this man he will model a boat, right? And upside down, flip it upside down, and make a building out of it. It was really amazing. And then I saw how you pivoted to grasshopper
3D
and
printing.
I don't know 3D printing, exactly. So finding real life applications to those technologies. So I want to say keep that spirit driven and multiply that in as many of the younger people as possible. So thank you so much, Abe. Hassan, just want to hear your thoughts. But before you go on, I want to say something about the influence that you've had on the industry. And it was through creative architects that I got to know you, and I was privileged to participate in in the competition.
Right.
After my master's, yeah, I was.
Was that 2016?
The second year, yeah, I
Something
think.
like that, yeah.
Something like that. I was with architect I was with Osage and a few others, and Lanry. They came first.
Right.
Came first
Right.
twice.
I remember. I remember now.
Exactly. And so many people, that used to be a very strong driving force for inspiration for people. And I really would like to see the amazing things that you have, laid out with creative architects. But you can speak to that.
Yes.
But also, I'd like to hear your summation.
Everybody is putting me on the spot. Yeah, we definitely would love to. We definitely would love to have creative architects again. Me personally, I'm looking forward to meeting all these amazing, brilliant minds that we have in the industry. So we will work on it. We'll work on it, definitely. We'll work on it. Speaking to what we're talking about doing one takeaway for everyone to go home. As I'm talking to you right now, I'm using AI. And AI is tracking my eyes and helping me keep focus on the camera. It's learning my eye behavior, my eye movement. So if you like try to look a little bit closer, you might see something a little bit unnatural about my eyes. So again, I'm telling you, be curious and try to adopt an experimental mindset. If you want to try things out, if you want to see how things work, break it up and put it back together. That is one surefire way of finding out how it works. Oh, you're trying to zoom my eyes out for everyone to see? So let me see if I can make it obvious a little bit. Okay. So if you looked at my eyes, you might notice a little bit. It's pretty accurate. It's by NVIDIA. NVIDIA broadcast kind of like helps learn your eye patterns and kind of keeps it centered on the camera. And if I change that now, you probably would notice that it's no longer centered and it's no longer like focusing on the camera.
I can see that.
So I just changed that. I just turned off the AI part of that. So stay curious, stay inspired, experiment with stuff, and if it doesn't work, find another way to make it work. That's what I'm going to tell you today. So like I said, when I was doing the clash matrix with 225 models, at first I got GPT confused, but eventually I found a clearer way of giving it my prompts, giving it my instructions, laying it out, being very clear and articulate before I gave it that command and made it run and give it. So if you have 7 ways that it's not working, try the 8th.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Hassan. And to you, Dr. Obiora. First of all, before you say anything, I want to say thank you for all the investments, all the I will call it multi-generational investments, honestly. And it's really amazing to see that you didn't just drive change then, you're seeking to drive change today. Thank you for that. Thank you for that legacy.
Thank you very much.
To carry.
And, I'm pleased to be here now and to see people like you, see people like Calatabra. I see people like Wega, doing things. And also, I want to thank Hassan. I don't think I've met you before, Hassan.
No, we haven't. This is our first time.
Most of the times, these my students those days, they come to me, yeah, we have a competition, Chrono Studios. I say, okay.
Oh.
So they used to bring their works, I used to critique it, I used to look through their presentations before they bring it to you.
Awesome.
So I know they won prizes. I remember they came back with a 175,000 naira check or something.
Oh, nice.
They were winning money.
Yeah. One big check like that.
Meaning you did your homework, sir. Meaning you did your homework. You trained them enough to use software and bring the checks.
So please, I'm happy. So what I can give to everyone listening to us now, the take home is that we need to understand something, that your personality is a function of your personal reality. I will say it again. Your personality is a function of your personal reality. Your personal reality is now, your life, the level you've gotten to, where you are, whatever you're doing, that's your personal reality. Now, your personality is how you think, how you feel, how you act. Today, we've given a lot of information. We put out a lot of information out there. So, you as a human being listening to me now, what do you see? Somebody might see himself as being the top of the top 10 in architecture worldwide in the next 2 years. If that's what you will see, run with it. And I can assure you, your personality in 2 years will change. Because once you start thinking, it will prepare you to act. And once you act, you will see results. Thank you very much.
That's profound.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's profound. I appreciate the insights you shared.
Thank you.
So I just want to say thank you so much to our speakers of day one. Thank you so much, Hassan. Thank you so much, Abi. So insightful the things you shared. And thank you so much, Dr. Obi.
And thanks to everyone who's been watching us.
Dr. Lalade, our host. Yeah.
Thanks everybody who is watching, everybody who is listening to us. We thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Lalade.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Visioning this amazing conference.
Well, thank you very much. I'll start with our anchor, the moderator, David. Thank you very much. The journey has been a long one. We've been together for years now. Dr. Obi, I normally call him my master. My very first design works as an architect, he gave them to me. So I served under him. And so I regard him as a master of the craft. Thank you, sir, for your investment. Interestingly, at one point I was a student. At another point, I became his business partner. So, it's interesting. It was a very interesting reality. And, thank you for, being very open, being very practical on the job. He taught me the art of the business of architecture, I must say. He exposed me to the world of practice, meeting clients, and, getting paid, well paid for job. He's a good man. Thank you, sir. And of course, and of course, using the same tools he taught me. So you can imagine, I'll use the same card, the same AutoCAD, Revit. We'll go and do some jobs, and then we'll make money. Say, okay, so that's your own share. Very interesting. And for Calatrava, we always knew he had the stuff in him. And Calatrava, because we share the same role model in design. I always love Calatrava stuff. So when we met, it was a clash of titans, and he lost structures, I lost structures. So we had a good time. Thank you very much for your experience today. I mean, it was very fascinating. Dr. Azan, interestingly, this is the first time we're also meeting, on this platform. Yes, I used to know that when our students used to go for the competition, and of course, I always saw you that, oh, you're contemporary doing great stuff, and your studio, Kono Studio. I think it's a pioneer in our own generation, and I want to thank you for the creativity, the input put into it. If Konos were to be like a fintech by now, I think it should be a unicorn. So
Yeah, it will flutter with a unicorn, definitely.
I mean,
Yeah, let's go get the
I mean,
funding.
Yes, yes, yes,
yeah.
yes, yes.
So I think we discuss that after this and see how we can. I must say, very impressive. You led a new generation of young people in a design space, particularly visualization. You know, you know you stood your ground that people can thrive in this space. And I
Yeah.
mean, many persons have. I knew many persons that passed through your tutelage, and they're doing great stuff now. So I want to thank you for blazing the trail, and of course to our audience. I'm sure for me today I feel very fulfilled because the mission of this platform has been achieved. I mean, right now someone somewhere is thinking of how they can start learning AI, using the AI to work, seeing what you've done as a student, in secondary school, starting to use CAD. I mean,
Hmm.
Akitobi, I know he was like a lone ranger. It was the only faculty teaching CAD. Then almost about 20 years ago, when he taught the likes of myself and my colleagues, 2006, 2005, the thing looked like Greek, but somehow the man just pushed us through, and somehow, in 2 years, 3 years, we began masters, in the game. And so, I mean, today I feel fulfilled that 20 years after, I'm on this platform with the same man, and the man is still on fire. He's still curious.
Hmm.
I want to say
Yes.
thank you. Yeah, and to our audience, I'm sure that I think Azan
Thank you.
just gave like a team on how we can run. Just stay curious. I mean, it will interest you. I'm also an enthusiast of AI. It's not as though I'm an expert, but I said, look, this is the new frontier. This is the future. This is 5 years from now. And so we just need to push this conversation. And design world, we normally stay back and let others lead. You get the fintech guys leading, the guys in the edutech leading, but design we just kind of stay aloof. I said, no, I will be involved in leading the charge and see how we can use tech to enhance design. We've always stayed back in our cocoon, design for one. But I saw on your website Azan saying products that you're not just doing design for one. You are doing design one to many, not one to one. And I think for me, as we converse, we should
Hmm.
begin to move from one to one to many. I mean, I saw the work that Calatrava is doing. So that's moving from one to many, not just one to one. Our industry over the decades has been used to the architects serving the bourgeoisie
On
one to one. Okay,
One to
we can
one.
push narrative from
Yeah.
one to many. Because when I look at
True.
it, the guys who are doing the fintech, the guys who are doing other areas, they just design one
scaling,
product and it serves the world.
scaling.
And yet the architect, the same creativity, the same brain will design one for one person, for one client, and just stays there. So I think for me, this is the kind of conversation I'm interested in pushing. I want to thank you very much, our speakers. You've done a fantastic job today. I mean, thank you very much. And I'm sure that tomorrow will be very interesting again. Tomorrow we have another professor, Professor Ilozo, is an established expert in AI too. We also have Akinwale Arokodare, also doing great stuff. And then we have the famous Okoli. Okoli has done a lot of stuff in visualization. So he'll be
Hmm.
here tomorrow.
True.
Yeah, I think it's a guardian of the stars. And then on this platform, really just to inspire younger designers, students, and also established designers. So
Oh,
that, look, this is the future. Like you said that 25 years back, the guys who are using hand drafting were being pushed away by card. 10 years back, being pushed the card guys away. It looks like tomorrow morning, the AI
We
guys will
might all
push
be
the real
jobless.
guys. So,
time to wake up.
so the area will begin to take up the stride. I want to say thank you very much, everyone. Really glad for your time. And we hope to see you tomorrow. And to our audience, thank you for staying put. It's been an interesting
Thank you.
time, and we'll see tomorrow about 2:30. There about I think 2 o'clock or 2:30. 2 o'clock, 2:30 tomorrow. Thank you very
Yeah.
much, and have a good time. Thank
Been
you,
a
Thank
All
pleasure.
everybody.
right.
you.
Thank you so
Have a
much.
good one, guys.
Bye.
I guess.
Bye.
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 See you guys tomorrow.
Bye.
Okay.
Yeah.